Welcome to the Change Life Destiny podcast, where healthcare is being reimagined one conversation at a time. We spotlight the people, innovations, and ideas moving us from sick care to self-care and from reactivity to true prevention. A place to connect, learn, and build a new future together. Get inspired at changelifedestiny.com. Let's dive in. Welcome back, everybody, to today's episode of the Change Life Destiny podcast series. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today, I cannot wait for this conversation. Today, we're talking to Anthony Voorhees of Proteus Dx. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here, Stephanie. Thank you.
Let me tell you, I was thinking about this about an hour ago. I was like, this is going to be such an interesting conversation because the technology that you have, I have never seen before, and it reminds me of a very old movie. And so I really want to talk to you about it and find out more about how it is helping people. But before we get there, I want to talk to you about you. So can you share with us just a little bit about your story and how you found yourself in this health space today?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, so I've been in medical diagnostics and clinical labs for about 25 years now. So that's my background, and been really fortunate to work along a great team and lead some companies, both in the public companies as well as private companies, and work with some amazing technologies. So one of my colleagues who I'd worked with previously, his name's Ernie Lee. He's our CEO of Proteus Dx. He approached me with this concept that he had and what he was putting together, which is now known as Proteus Dx, our platform and everything that we'll get into. But I really felt it was brilliant in that it would tackle a very specific need in gut health, and that nothing, like you said, nothing's out there that we've seen like it. My background aligned very well. I started out with him. I'm Chief Commercialization Officer with Proteus Dx. Been fortunate to have a lot of leadership roles with other companies. I certainly signed up and committed to helping to launch and drive this business forward. It's been very exciting so far, incredibly well received. We just got back from an India trip where we're launching in India, so we're going to be global. We're already global.
That's so
it's
exciting.
going, things are moving at a very fast pace, yes.
That's amazing. Okay, so have you always been in the health space? You mentioned that you've had leadership roles in other companies.
Sure. I graduated from ASU, a degree in kinesiology, and when you're in that kind of degree, you get to know a lot of people, nurses, and more about health education. And it really led me into doing health screenings all around the world, or around the country, I should say. And along the way, I got really excited about medical devices. And so that's how I got into the medical device field. And then I would say in the last 10 to 15 years, I started learning about functional and integrative medicine, the whole paradigm shift that's been happening for a while now. And I got super excited about this root cause drivers and technologies that now can help get to the bottom of things and help people in a very meaningful way. So I've been really fortunate to kind of land in the last decade in that space. So dealing with clinical labs that aren't just your standard labs, but more esoteric and more advanced profiles that really show inflammatory markers, that show autoimmune markers. And so you get a true picture of your health. And then when you marry that with diagnostics like imaging, like the capsule, which we'll talk about, you're really getting a tremendous diagnostic yield that can really move the needle. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to be in this space. I love it. I'm probably going to be in it for a much longer time. So God willing.
There we go. There we go. We love it. We love it. We love it. Of course, that is right along our mission, of course, with changing life and destiny, of finding things like that. Okay, let's dive in because I know a little bit, just enough to be dangerous about your prognostic and your technology. Let's go ahead and talk about what sets this apart, because there are diagnostic tests out there. And from what I've seen them, where it's some sort of, they're taking something from you, right? They're taking your blood, or they're taking your saliva, or they're taking other types of whatever, right? Yours does not do that. So tell us about your technology. Tell us about Proteus Dx and why it's different.
Sure. And that's such a great question. So what we did is we developed a platform so we can work with any type of technology. So for example, some of the core pillars of our program are microbiome testing. So we can work with various groups. I was just at an event last night in LA. Viome was there. We can work with theirs. We have really come to know this company called Gut ID that
Yeah.
uses a different technology called Titan technology, can really get down to the strain specific. So we very much like that. It's very actionable. So that's one that we're leaning toward, but our platform's agnostic, so we can work with multiple companies, but we very much like the Gut ID. So microbiome's a key pillar for us because it shows the diversity, it shows the ecosystem of the gut, which is so important. Want to have that balance. And so that's a key component that we have. Other components are your standard labs more on the gut side, blood tests related to GI health, inflammatory markers, and then things like calprotectin, that's a stool sample, that's a clinical biomarker. So we also have those biomarkers. So not just microbiome, but some of the more clinical based biomarkers. And then, of course, our flagship that you know about is the video capsule endoscopy. That's the capsule you swallow, and it takes over 50,000 images out throughout the whole tract,
What?
right?
That's like, what is
So,
that movie? Inner Space? Is that right?
well, it's funny you say movie because our name really comes from a movie back in 1966, The Fantastic Voyage.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when they shrunk that little mini submarine
Yes.
with people, and it went in, I guess it fixed things in the body. So we took that little tagline or whatever, and we rolled it out with Proteus Dx. So that's how that started.
Okay, so
But so
tell
we
us about
we
this.
take
Tell us
all of
about
this
this capsule.
data, right? All of this data, it's pretty massive data, right? And it's fragmented right now in our industry. So a lot of doctors are starting to order it more and more, the microbiome and these others, but they're having to deal with it on their own, put it all together in their own program, and that's time consuming. So
Mm.
what the Proteus platform, we're taking this fragmented data and lots of it, and we're synthesizing that data into a functional report. So you could have a PDF of your blood markers, we'll give it to us, and we'll convert that into a functional report. So we know that standard reports from like Quest or the other often just have a normal or abnormal, right? Functional reports include optimal ranges. So I always like to say, hey, you might be a point away from abnormal, but you're normal, but is that really good? No, you want to be optimal. Taking a lot of this data, we consolidate the findings to key findings for the doctor so they don't have to. And so they'll get a consolidated report, a functional report with additional parameters, and they will also get a proactive plan based on those results. So taking all of those data, turning it into an action plan with results and personalized program for the patient that the doctor can use, leverage that, augment their existing program, or adopt it altogether. So it really is that kind of service and the ability with our platform to do that. Now, the next step would be treatment, of course, and there's lots of things that we've done on that side in terms of supplementation and different types of Ayurvedic medicine. There's skin health. So there's a lot of other verticals that doctors can utilize that complement the GI testing.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's our end-to-end solution. It's really meant to save time. That's just a touch on the Proteus platform that we're rolling out.
Amazing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this capsule because that's where it gets,
Yeah.
for me, all of this data. Yes, that is exciting. And it's super exciting that you're putting it into a digestible space. Not to
Mhm.
pun intended,
Yeah, right.
right. But a digestible space where doctors can really find a lot of information and really help people on a different level. But this capsule, I'm fascinated. So you swallow it just like you would any other supplement or
Yeah.
capsule. Tell me how it works.
I wish I could just let me see if I can show it to you. It's always tough on these cameras, but
Yeah, if we
can you
yes,
see
okay.
it? You can
I
see it
can
blinking
see
a little
it.
bit.
It blinks
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes. Oh my
this is
gosh.
the capsule. And just to give you a little background on the capsule, it's been around for a while. The technology keeps getting better and better in terms of battery life. And we're now using a capsule that's about 40% smaller. It maintains all the same technology, battery, everything. So basically this capsule, and it really is a game changer. And I'll tell you what our approach is, but just a little bit about the capsule. You swallow the capsule. Patients will wear a recorder that will record all of the imaging in the recorder. And so they just go about their day, and then that's excreted. It basically
Okay.
travels through the entire system, taking. So what we're looking for is things like little polyps, tumors, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, lots of different things you can pick up along that journey. And as we know, GI doctors have a very hard time getting into the small bowel, right?
Mm.
It's been called the black box because it's very difficult to access. And so these capsules do just an amazing job of navigating through that and capturing beautiful images. And now with the advent of AI, so our capsule now has AI that can capture all of these different things throughout. And so it's FDA cleared to do that. And it's interesting because there was a study that showed the human eye, when you're looking at these all these images and the readings, you're going to miss quite a bit because just think you turn your head, you're missing like hundreds of images, right? Because AI doesn't blink. So it's actually capturing it. They put this little blue boxes around any kind of findings. And so the study showed that about the technicians got about 75% right, but the AI brought it to 99%. So
Wow.
that's where technology is really helping out, both on the efficacy, but also on efficiency. So efficiency is key. And I had mentioned I mentioned we're in India. We are
Yeah.
in India. Efficiency is absolutely key there because they see such a high volume of patients, 70, 80
Mm.
patients a day. So that's why capsule is becoming such a big thing for them out there. And us providing that AI solution is a game changer.
That
So it takes
is
something that's over an
incredible.
hour, for example, down to 12 minutes, 13 minutes to assess.
Okay. So how long does it I can only imagine that it depends on the person, right? But how long does it take this thing to go the journey?
You're right. It depends on the person, but generally 24 to 34 hours or 35 hours. It's that's usually the common window there.
Okay. And there's no adverse response or someone who gets this thing stuck or something like that?
So it's a very low risk, but there
Okay.
are risks available. So
Sure.
people that maybe have known structural issues like ulcerative colitis, they have a higher risk, maybe around 7 or 8% of
Okay.
retaining.
Okay.
So one of the things we can do is use a patency capsule. A patency capsule is designed, you take it, it goes through the journey. If it gets stuck, it just dissolves. There's no problem there. So
Wow.
it just goes through and sees if the coast is clear, and then you
Got
can
it.
do the capsule. But for the most part, it's a low risk. There are measures that GIs can do to help remove the capsule if it does get retained, but
Yeah.
1% risk there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the fact that you're making it smaller, I'm sure the risk
Yes.
is even lower once that gets
Yeah.
smaller and has less trouble. Oh my goodness, this is just so exciting. So it takes all these images, comes back, spits out this amazing report. And then you also are connected, if I'm hearing you, you're connecting with other help for the practitioners so that they can assist these clients and patients to help to get into that optimal range. Am I understanding that correctly?
Exactly right. So we're providing the imaging capability to the physician. We're also providing support on the reads so we can do that for them or utilize the AI component with that. And it really helps them focus on care.
Yeah.
So whatever the results are, they're going to be able to tailor a specific treatment. Hopefully it's very proactive. They capture things
Mm.
much earlier. It's pretty exciting, the technology now, because we can look at the esophagus very closely. And there's been a skyrocket in the amount of esophageal cancers.
Oh,
So with
really?
CAPS, yes. So there was a study that showed 90% of patients with esophageal cancer had Barrett's esophagus, which is precedes esophageal cancer. So Barrett's is a precancerous stage.
Okay.
Um, had they known that, they could have treated that. So with capsule, we can actually start to slow down the capsule. We use like a tether is one way to do it. So slow it down, capture those images, and then you can begin to monitor anything suspicious. So generally there's a change in texture of the epithelium, but there's also a change in tone. It gets to like a salmon color. So these
Oh,
are things you catch early on and prevent the really high risk of esophageal cancers now.
wow.
So that's
Unbelievable.
so think about the capsule going down. It's doing a lot of assessment of the esophagus, then throughout the entire small bowel, and then the colon. So it's
Wow.
capturing those three different areas. And here's what I didn't really talk about. Our whole mission was we saw this capsule and we thought this is really being underutilized. It's a niche market with the GIs. They use it predominantly for undiagnosed bleeds like anemia. Like,
Mm.
where is this coming from? So they'll
Mm.
do the capsule. We thought, you know what, we need to be able to make this available to more people through primary care doctors, through direct to consumer. And I can tell you a little bit about that where it gets very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, here's the other big problem. and this is all backed up by research, when it comes to endoscopies or colonoscopies, so let's take endoscopies, 86% of patients won't go in to get an endoscopy, even if they have symptoms and problems.
Mm,
Could be, why is the reason for that is because it's invasive,
yes.
sedation, all of those things. They just don't want to do it. So that's the bottom line. And now with colonoscopies, I think it's 54%. So when you have that, the lack of compliance, you have 3 billion people on the planet with digestive disorders.
Mm,
These systems, the current protocol is falling way short.
yeah.
So we saw an opportunity to really leverage capsule to expand it, get it in more people's hands. One of the ways we're doing that is we formed an IDTF, and that's an independent diagnostic testing facility that allows us to do the billing and a lot of the oversight with the GI, so that
Mm,
primary care doctors can order this in their patients because they're the front lines.
yeah.
So that's one way to expand. The other way is direct to consumer. So now we've partnered with a capsule company that has a FDA clearance for remote ingestion, and that was in January of this year, so pretty recent. And they've
Wow.
asked us to be that kind of that arm to bring it to direct to consumer. So that's great. We're very fortunate to have that opportunity, and you can think of all the people in remote areas and underserved areas that will have access to this. So that's all accomplished through telemedicine and some supervision during the capsule ingestion. But yeah, we like where the market's going, the FDA approvals, everything is lending itself to get more aggressive with prevention. And so we're happy to be on this front edge of that. Yeah.
That is so exciting. That is so exciting because you're right. There are so many people that are not going to be compliant with those kinds of tests,
Right.
and you're absolutely right about that. Okay, so what are some favorite stories of change? What are some favorite stories that you have that are case studies, if you will, that show these compelling changes?
Yeah, so we're still early on. We put the infrastructure in place. We have a couple pilots going. We just launched in India, and we're getting ready for a pretty big launch here in the US. We just started a new clinic in Beverly Hills in Los Angeles. So we're rolling out a comprehensive program. It's called our Platinum program that has the microbiome, the biomarkers, and the video capsule. So
Wow.
that's one way. Often you can start with the microbiome testing and the other markers and see if that would lead to the capsule. But
Mm,
early on, in terms of we definitely have background on case studies and success stories. But in terms of our own launch and commercial launch, we're just right now launching into the
oh my
US and
god.
global.
How
So I will
exciting
get
for it
back
to
to
be
you
in the forefront.
on those case
Yes!
studies and patient testimonials as soon
And
as they
I
come in.
absolutely love this
Yeah.
being on the forefront of things and
Mm.
really pressing into this idea of capturing something that can be so helpful for so many. Okay, so you've talked about it a little bit, and I guess I'm certain that I can guess your answer for this, but what is Anthony's desire? So if you were to put yourself, take Proteus out of the picture for a minute, but what is your dream? Like if you were thinking about root cause preventative care, what would your dream life be in the future? What do you think the future of healthcare should look like?
I think we're really on track with companies like with organizations like with what you're doing at Changing Life and others that are really focused on changing the whole course of care because so many people are so disappointed in it,
Mm,
right? So when you spend 60 to 90 minutes with the patient, when you're getting more diagnostics that can really move the needle, but you're getting that care to finally get it out of the unknown and into the known. Because there's so many
mm,
people like people were telling me I'm crazy, it's all in my head, but really there was something going on and we found
mm.
it. That's the main thing for me is when I see those kind of success stories. And I
Yeah,
think in terms of gut health, Socrates back the Socrates no, yeah, Hippocrates, sorry,
there we
not
go.
Socrates. Hippocrates said 2,500 years ago, I think it was, that all disease begins in the gut. And so if we can get the gut balanced, it's connected to the brain, it's connected to the heart, so many things, then that's a great base. So I feel really good about being in this space. But what I see in the other areas, like with cancer detection, liquid
Mm,
biopsies, with amazing things coming along, I just feel like the treatment's getting better, the diagnostics are getting better. And as long as we can keep the care and that physician relationship, we're going to really see some great changes in our health. So
yes.
I'm excited to just be part of that. Honestly, we'll see what the future brings, but it's great to be on this part of that whole. change.
Yeah, and also what you were talking about just with the esophageal cancer and the fact that you can get to a place of prevention more
Yes.
than utilizing all these technologies, all these devices, all these products, all these services that we bring to changing life and destiny, and utilizing them in a way that really does help people from a preventative and root cause perspective is
Yes.
really helpful. I just absolutely love this. I think it is so cool. And it is really one of those things that a lot of doctors and practitioners out there are going to be able to use. And I'm so glad that you, as a company, are really thinking of direct to consumer too, because not everybody has the cash or the
Right.
time or whatever to go to the doctor. So providing that type of service is really important.
It's about raising awareness. There's a lot of people, I think, suffering in silence. They're not doing
Yeah.
anything. So if they know this is out there and that they can order it remotely, we think it's going to be a game changer. We really do
Yeah.
believe that.
That's absolutely wonderful. We will make sure that we paste all of the links down below, and maybe you can even send us a picture because I know you showed me the pill and it looks really cool. But send us a picture of what it looks like so that we can place that in the show notes. And we will make sure that anybody and everybody can get in touch with you after listening to this. But Anthony, I'm just so excited that you're a part of our mission and what we're doing. And thank you for everything that you've done to get to yourself to this point because you're just at the precipice, I think.
Thank you, Stephanie. And I feel the same about your organization. And it's great to play a part of it. I'm looking forward to the conference.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Thank you for your time today. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Change Life Destiny podcast. If you loved what you heard, share it with a friend and follow us for more bold conversations and breakthrough ideas. Ready to take the next step? Visit changelifedestiny.com to join the movement. See you next time, and keep diving in, learning, and leading the change.